gets racks to us. We appreciate that very much. All right, and here we go. Bob Madenjian to break in rack number 1. It's looking like he's going to come up dry. Now, normally that does not happen with the template. Higher level players usually do not break dry with the template. I'm not sure if he had the ball situated properly or not, but normally, I mean, high B players and above, usually you'll see that wing ball firing in on the break, especially with the template. Well, it looks like a decent table here. I mean, the 2 ball's somewhat buried with that 4 ball blocking. Mike's looking to get comfortable with the speed of the table very early on here. Managed to get on the 2 ball. Really got to try to hang on to the cue ball here. This table is a little faster than the average table, so he may have to come back and forth again, and that's what he was looking to do there. And early on in a match, you're going to see, for the most part, you're going to see some missed shots and unexpected errors by the players. It's first match of the day. Got to work out all the kinks and whatnot. But I assure you, both of these players will be hitting a gear. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat there. Got George Texera. What's up, my man? Paul Pessoa, Phil Medeiros, Randy Gilbert, Paul Troxel, Joe Cameron, David Bowden, Leo Chenard. What's up, everybody? Troy Fortin, Lem Tanksley, Rainey. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you're enjoying what we've got on for you. Please make sure you guys are sharing the stream. We want to make sure everyone sees. Want to make sure everybody sees. Mario Argentino. Hi, Mike. Sounds good. Sounds great. Good luck today. Thanks for all your hard work. Thank you, Mario. Appreciate that, brother. Hey, Joe Boston. I wish you were down here, bro. I'm sure you're up doing business as usual. Bob looking down this 3 ball, looking to come across underneath the 4 ball. And he elected to go above it. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. Now, Bob is a very experienced player. He's been at Snookers quite a few times for other events, mostly higher level tournaments like Joss events or, even race larger group tournaments. And we're really happy to have him today. He's a very, very powerful player, great at one pocket. I've heard he's got some serious skills in one pocket. But again, early on in the tournaments, you don't get to see a player's top gear. Usually, I expect to see their top gear sometime around 7, 8 o'clock. They've been playing all day. They're comfortable with the table speed. They're comfortable in the environment, and that's usually when you get to see players' best games. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Bob hit his top speed. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with Mike Minichello right here at Snookers on Table 1, the stream you're looking at here. Mike has played past tournaments and also action matches, the Ship to Cash action matches. He played against Joe Dupuis on this table last year. He came out the winner of that one. It was a race to 15. He came out winner 15-13, defeated Joey. Very good win there. Very good win. Mike's pretty good on this 7-ball. I would expect him just to draw slightly, stay above the 8-ball. He also might elect to roll around the 8-ball, but it's really preference here. Yeah, I'm going to say that's just the early tournament. We'll call it the early tournament crust, so to speak. Mikey will not miss that shot very often, 100%. I'll tell you, once these guys get the table figured out, they'll be putting on a fantastic show for you, guaranteed. And that's going to sit right in front of the side pocket. Now, this is kind of a touchy shot for most players. A lot of times players just plug it in there and try to draw the ball around the table, and that can really cause trouble. You can find yourself scratching in the bottom corner. If you try to just roll softly, you could find yourself in the top corner scratching up there, or just completely out of line. So you really got to focus on how you want to play this here. I would expect him to either cut it thinly, come 2 rails above the 8-ball, or I expect him to draw 2 rails out and shoot the 8 in the side pocket. Either of those are an option for him. It really depends on how he's comfortable shooting, where his speed is at in his head. And he elected to draw above the 8 for the corner. Came out a little high up, but all he really needs to do here is just roll the ball forward. Should have a nice line. He's going to be a little close to the 9-ball, but he should be able to get away from it. And he does. Waiting for his opportunity at the table. It's looking like Mike's going to take the first game here. And he does. There it is. Mike Minichello going up 1-0 against Bob Madenjian. Just want to mention our sponsors here help make this event possible. Big up to MD Promotions, the New England 9-ball series. Great supporters of this stream right here. Also Classic Signs, huge supporters of our stream here. Checkered Flag Landscaping, Outsville, Ship to Cash, and the Pop System, POP, Pool Organized, PlayerOrganizedPool.com. All supporters of the stream you are watching right now. David Torgovec in the chat may be missing because it's really cold in there. Well, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, he is still wearing his jacket and his winter hat. But I'll tell you what, there's other guys in the room with short sleeve T-shirts on, and they seem fine. So maybe Mike's just a little bit cold. I can see that. I'll tell you, a lot of players are more comfortable with a lot of gear on versus minimal gear. And by gear, I mean, hoodies or, versus wearing just a polo shirt or whatever it is. But some players actually prefer to play with, just a little, I don't want to call it like a security blanket, but just a little bit more on their bodies for some reason. They're comfortable. Unfortunately, Bob did not contact a rail there. That's going to be ball in hand for Mike. So you got Mike coming to the table with ball in hand. That is not a good sign for Bob. And in this event, it is all ball foul in the act of a shot. Now, you saw that Mike had moved the 9-ball trying to remove that template. And as long as you notify a player that you did move something on the table, then it would not be a foul. So you just got to make sure that you're making your opponent aware that you did move something. But in the act of a stroke, if you are shooting and you move a ball, that would be a foul in this event. So Mike looking to take care of this table here. Not sure if he's going to go all the way for the side pocket for the 2-ball, or if he's just going to stay above and shoot it into the corner. Not really sure his style, how he chooses to play this. And he elects to go to the side. A little overrolled, but should be fine. Should be fine. There's not really too many issues he's got in this rack here. He really just needs to make sure he's not overstroking, and he should be fine. This should be another one for Mike. I mean, anytime you get a player at this caliber, the balls are open, not really anything blocked, no funny combinations or anything. I mean, you got to favor them. Just got to make sure that he tries to walk before he begins to run. That's something I see very often, where a player tries to just free stroke right off the rip in a tournament, and they'll miss something very, very high percentage shot. And, you know, they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I missed. And really, they were just trying to get their top gear right away. And while I can agree with, trying to get comfortable and really just, feeling good out there, I agree with that. But you got to take your time a little bit. Even if you're a rhythm player, you like to go a little bit quicker, that's okay. But in the early stages of a tournament, you really don't want to run that fast. You really want to take your time getting prepared. So that is definitely sound advice. Mikey came a little bit low on the 8-ball. I believe he's just going to play some inside English and hold it for the 9. Not really sure. I see him going around the world. And that speed got him a hair, but very, very makeable for this man right here. Very makeable. All right, Mike Mini looking to go up 2-0. Well executed shot. Very nice. And this is a winner break format. So this is winner break. And players do have the option, again, they can use the template or they may use a standard rack. That is up to them. Me personally, I would probably be using the template just because, I mean, there's nothing really better than a perfect rack. So I know that some players, they're just not familiar with it, and not familiar with using a template, and sometimes they struggle actually placing the balls there. I mean, the template works fine, but sometimes they're just a little uncomfortable about things, and they just don't know how to. They just don't know how to get the balls in the rack properly. So that's mostly the lower level players, to be honest. But I don't expect to see any of the higher level players utilizing the standard rack. All right, Mike Mini choosing to break from the side of the table there, fires the wing ball in. 9-ball is going to sit, almost dropping. And I want to say if it was a little bit closer, if that 9-ball is a little closer to the front of that corner pocket, we'd be seeing him swinging at it. But I do not think we're going to see that. I don't think we're going to see that from him here. It's kind of a wild shot if you ask me, so. I mean, he's looking to see what he can manifest with that 1 and that 9-ball there, but I don't really think that he's going to be swinging at it. He may, and it is not called 9, so he doesn't have to call it. Ryan Lynham, what's up, Mike? Tuning in from Daytona. Hope you're having a good time out there, Ryan. I know that you just recently made the decision to go out there. Otherwise, we'd probably be watching you in one of these matches. All right, Mike went for the 9-ball there. I think that was kind of a low percentage option there. But again, a lot of this stuff is player preference. If he feels he can execute, then I say go ahead. But I want to say in a few hours from now, Mike will drain that shot. But early on in the tournament, I don't suggest doing things like that. There's Bob playing a 2-way there. He had the 9-ball right there. He almost did contact it to make it, but he was really just focused on making the 1 ball, sending the cue ball somewhat close to the 9. But he knew he would have shape on the 2-ball, so not much to lose by taking a swing at the 9 there. Drawing off 1 rail, great shape on the 3. He's going to want to draw 1 rail off here, come just about where he is now on the table for that 6-ball on the side. And that was very unlike what we're used to seeing from Bob here. And again, I really just think that's just slight discomfort on the equipment right off the bat. We will definitely see a little higher level from Bob going forward, I'm sure. And, you know, that can happen at any level. I mean, unless you're literally a top professional, most players need to know what's going on with the equipment. You know, they really need to get their bearings down. I sometimes compare it to a compass. I mean, when you get out there, if your compass is broken, I mean, you have no idea where you're going. You really got to make sure that you know how the equipment is going to react to your shots, and, you know, then you can apply your stroke to it. But if you're not sure what the table is going to do when you contact the rail, when you execute spin, you know, new cloth, worked in cloth, fast rails, slow rails, tight pockets, big pockets. I mean, all of those things play factors. So again, at any level of play, again, unless you're really a top professional, you know, you got to learn to adjust to those conditions. And sometimes there is a learning curve, especially in a match, in an early match more so. So Mike got great on the 7-ball here. Very well executed 6. I believe he's just going to leave the cue ball under the 8-ball to shoot it in the side. However, I don't see his angle here. It's kind of straight. And another uncharacteristic miss from these 2 players. I mean, they're really just looking to get comfortable at this point, which I'm sure they will. Folks in the chat, if you can hear me, if you got your sound on, let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you think. Let us know how we sound. Let us know how the picture looks. Very well executed. Nice speed. He's going to go right underneath the 8-ball. Perfect shape. My money's on Bob Madenjian this rack. 100%. Nothing too fancy to deal with here. And Bob taking rack number 3. And that's going to put us at 2-1. Again, want to give a shout to our sponsors right there on your screen. Our largest supporters here, Classic Signs and MD Promotions, the New England 9-Ball Series. Very, very big supporters of the stream you are watching right now. Also, Checkered Flag Landscaping, Outsville, and Player Organized Pool. All supporters. And again, we are at the 14th annual Larry Liscotti Memorial 9-Ball event. First time this event has come to Snookers. And I believe we have a 70-plus field, somewhere around that. But again, I hope you guys are enjoying what you're watching here. Got a lot of great players coming up. I want to mention to you there is a great match going on table number 15. We got Tom D'Alfonso Shorty, and he's playing against Mike Deshane. I'm not sure how that match is rolling right now, but I'll tell you, that is a good one. If you're in the room, I'd want to sweat that. All right, now Bob is choosing a different spot to break from. He's pretty much on the corner of the break box. This is break from anywhere behind the head string, so he's not limited there, but that's where he's choosing to break, looking to make the 5 ball in the bottom corner, and he does. He does execute. So he did find a little bit better of a place with his break there. I remember he had broken dry earlier. So, I'm going to take you up to the bird's eye view. Check out what we're looking at here. Now, I'll tell you, it does not look like Bob has a clear shot at the 1 ball. He may have the edge of it. Again, it's very, very difficult to judge, judge certain lines on the table, especially when you're not at the table. Even though we have all these nice cameras in the room to give you these great angles, it's still very, very difficult to judge unless you are at the table. A centimeter here, a centimeter here. It's very, very difficult to judge. So he's getting down like he's got something there. I don't know if he's electing to kick or if he does have the edge here. He did not. And he kicks it right in. That's a great shot. And the speed that he hit that, had he gone long, that probably would have sent the 1 ball 2 rails behind the 2 ball. So he would have been blocked there. He was playing that the speed, so that would have been a 2-way shot there. That's really just Bob's experience. He's not just going to take flyers. When you're at this level of play, you notice more so that players don't take low percentage shots, and they kind of just play consistently. They're not going to take wild flyers at things. So I'm going to check back into the chat here. Scott Cowan, what's up, Mike? Hey, how you doing, Scott? Paul Lewis from Bridgeton, Maine. Great play, great stream, best in the business. I appreciate that, Paul. Really do. Really, really do. We're trying hard to give you guys good pool to watch. I'll tell you, there's not enough good pool to watch out there. I wish pool was back on TV like ESPN back when. That was always the greatest, but we're going to do our best to give you what we're looking for, which is great pool to watch and delivered in a high definition experience. That's what we're looking to give you. So Bob Madenjian playing safe there. Mike Minichello looking to 1 rail kick this ball. He's hoping he gins it right in that corner pocket right next to the 4 ball. And he's going to come out okay. Oof, pocketed the ball. Unbelievable. Pocketed the ball cross corner. And I do not believe he has even the edge of this 3 ball. So you're going to see Mike kick off the bottom rail with some spin, I believe, unless he can't hit it. He was able to contact it. I think he's going to come out okay. I'll tell you, folks, it doesn't look it on the screen per se, but I believe Bob actually has a perfect avenue to that 3 ball. So Bob Madenjian is actually now a threat to run this rack out. Really only has to execute 2 decent shots here. You got to get the cue ball back above the 9 over for the 4 ball. So you're going to see him draw stroke here. And he needs to get from the 4 to the 6 after that. If he can execute those 2 shots, the rest of the rack is kind of ABC. Very simple stuff. So, all right, that's part 1 of our plan. If he can get good shape on the 6 ball, I'm going to say Mr. Madenjian's going to take this rack. Not sure if he's just going to try to drag it over towards the 6 or if he's going to actually contact the rail there. He went for a super draw. Didn't come out too bad, but now this has turned into a 3rd lower percentage shot. Not a low percentage shot, but lower percentage. Bob can execute this for sure, but he needs to get good shape on the 7 ball now. Yeah, if he was just putting this 6 ball in right there, you know, that would definitely be increasing his chances for the rack. And he's going to miss and leave that ball hanging. Bringing Mr. Minichello back to the table. She's going to swing that cue ball 2 rails to shoot the 7 in the side pocket on the right side of your screen. I don't see him going any other route. That is the way, just like that. A little bit high on there, but he's still okay. I believe Mike can just twist this and leave the cue ball drawn just about 6 inches. Try to shoot the 8 ball in the top right of your screen there. He elected to roll the ball, trying to come back up the table. I don't know if I agree with that option there. However, he knows his abilities better than I do. And I'll tell you, when Mike gets rolling, he's really tough to get because he doesn't miss too often. Like, he's really just comfortable. And once he finds his gear, it's real tough to beat. Really, really tough to beat. And there we go. Mike Minichello taking rack number 4, going up 3 games to 1 over Bob Madenjian. And again, this is a race to 7 on the winner's side of this event. I'll try to get you guys a good next matchup. Not sure who we have on deck, but I will tell you, got tons of great players for you guys to watch. All right, Mike Mini breaking in rack number 5. He's ahead 3 games to 1, so race to 7. Almost scratching in the first side, almost scratching in the second, and he's going to come up dry. It's a dry break. Now I got to say, if you got the template working well, and you know, the template's racking well, and you know, I don't see why players contact the rack very hard. You really don't need to do too much there. You know, medium hard. You know, that power break, I'm not really sure that's beneficial. I mean, I could be wrong there, but I don't see the benefit there. You really just have to medium hard stroke, and that wing ball is going to fire in there. You just got to try to stay with position on your 1 ball. 1 ball coming up the table. So I'm not sure why they're choosing to hit the rack so hard. Perhaps they feel the table's playing a bit sluggish, but I mean, this table's pretty fast, so I don't see that being the case. All right, so this seems pretty standard here. Got to make a nice position play here. Get from the 2 to the 3. Excuse me. The only funny business is really that 6 and the 9. Depending on how he ends up on the 5. You know, depending on well, now that the 5 has changed. It really depends on how you can get to the 6 ball. If you can get underneath it, which is a lot easier now that the 5 is down table, then I would say the better option is just to get underneath the 6 ball, roll it up 7, 8, 9. You never really want to play a combination if you don't have to. If you just can make a clear pocket for a ball, that's really the best way to do it. So that will definitely win you more games. But Mike Mini, way down here, fires it in, looking to run into the 5 just like that. I'll tell you, this makes this shot a little more difficult because he's close to the rail, the angle he's on. If he was just even further down the table, it would be helpful. Just because he's not necessarily straight, but if you force follow this here, you're kind of running straight towards that corner pocket, and it's not really easy to manipulate the cue ball when you're stuck right against the rail there. So he elects to just roll up there. You can see the tracking of the cue ball heading straight towards that corner as specified. So he's just going for the long shot here. I'm not sure how he's going to choose to do this. He's going to go up the table, up and down the table for sure. But I don't know if he's going to look to run into the 6 or try to roll under it, stay above the 6 for the combination. Really going to have to see his preference here. All right, so he's definitely trying to avoid the 6 ball there. He did get shape on it. I expect to see him play some inside English, avoiding the side pocket on the right side of your screen. And also playing the speed where if the 6 ball does not go into the hole, it may come back up to the rail, on the side rail there, the long rail. I think that's a safer way to execute this one here. Not really sure any other options for him. I did not expect to see that out of Mike, to be honest. And Bob's got a chance to get closer in this set here. He's looking to just swing this over off that top of your screen there. Shooting the 7 in the opposite corner. Well executed. Now this shot here, you just want to make sure you leave yourself somewhat of an angle on the 8 ball. You don't want to end up too straight. And he looks like he got, yeah, he looks pretty straight. He might have a slight angle towards the 9, but the reason why you wanted to have some kind of an angle here is so that you can direct the cue ball towards the 9 ball at the same time as you coming up the table. I think Bob will have no problem executing here. Go ahead, you guys can blame me for that one. You can blame me. Commentator's curse, whatever you want to call it. Mikey's going to come to the table here. Just roll it in, come across the table, shoot the 9 in the corner. He's not going to really have to do too much funny business here. Although the speed of the table may bring him back to the rail where the 8 is, so you might see him stroke this just a hair. But I don't see him pounding this too much. And he hung the 8 ball. That is our quote-unquote pocket of doom. Seen a lot of matches end with balls hanging in that hole right there. And Mike gave the game right back to Mr. Madenjian. And there you have it. Bob Madenjian coming back with a 3-2 deficit. Again, want to give a shout to our sponsors. Make sure you check out Classic Signs. They're in Coventry, Rhode Island. They can do pretty much anything as far as graphics go. They can do wraps on your car. They can do full construction of signs. So you need a sign out in front of your business, they can take care of that. You need repairs on a sign, they can deal with that also. They do fantastic work. We got some other things from them to show you just a bit later. Again, that's Classic Signs. And also the New England 9-Ball Series. They got this event coming up next weekend at Straight Shooters. It's in Fall River. So make sure you're checking them out. It's going to be a great event. And we are going to continue the action right here. We've got Bob Madenjian coming to break in rack number 6. And he is trailing by 1 game in a race to 7. 3-2. pockets the 8-ball in the side. So that wing ball did not fall for him. I'm looking at my replay over here, and I can tell you, I don't think he had the rack situated properly. And the only reason I say that is because the 5-ball was his wing ball on the side. He was intending to make it, so he did contact the rack properly. 5-ball looked like it was heading towards there, but then you got a bunch of balls kicking over at it, so that usually won't happen if the rack is situated properly. I think he kind of just threw the balls up on the template, didn't really make sure everything was situated right. So he plays safe there, but he is right next to his next ball, so he's gonna be okay here. All right, so not really sure what Bob is looking to do, whether he's going to pocket or try to just cinch it. Yeah, he was trying to play two ways there. Definitely got fortunate there. That is twice that it was a little off. But he did come out okay. He did go offensive there. He did go on the offense. I think he's just going to elect to just draw back about a foot or so. And I'll tell you, you can tell that these guys are not 100% firm on the rail speed here. I would have just tried to avoid using the rails at all there, to be honest. He had a pretty good stroke on that. I didn't see the need for that, but nonetheless, he's going to be firing this up into the top right of your screen. Going to send the 6-ball to the same hole. And that's going to be a miss. Looking back in the chat, see a couple of folks there. NJ Pool Player, my dude. Greetings, sports fans. Troy, how you doing, my man? Glad to see you tuning in. Steve Sutton, Mr. Ship to Cash, that's me, sir. How you doing, Steve? Sorry, I know you couldn't make it. You had every intention on making it down. However, I know sometimes things come up, and unfortunately, Pool has to take a back seat. Rich Illingworth, Bob's struggling. Yeah, just a bit. Bob's having a tough time on this table right off the bat. It is his first match again, so I'm sure if anybody is familiar with Bob's game, he is definitely able to hit very high gears. So I know we're not seeing his best pool right here, but believe me, he's got more to show. Very much more. Way more. So pending the 7-ball, I do not see Mike missing this 9-ball. And he's going to go up 4 games to 2. And again, this is a race to 7. Race to 7. Again, want to just mention our sponsors again. Classic Signs, MD Promotions, the New England 9-ball series. Lots of great events from them. Checkered Flag Landscaping. They're in the Rhode Island area. Outsville. And Player Organized Pool. Again, Classic Signs will take care of anything you need in the sign industry. They have great prices. They've been in business for over 30 years. They're coming up on 40 pretty soon. They're actually at 37 years, I believe, right now. All right, Mike Mini to break in rack number 7. Just had a rule question. Someone was asking me a particular rule. So in this event, we have implemented some of our ship to cash rules, some of which are the attitude and the seating rules while in a match. So I'm working with Sal Bev and the East Coast Pool Tour on this event here, and they were just asking, how to deal with the happenings of players talking during matches, not sitting down, those types of things. So basically, when a player is in a match, you need to be seated while your opponent is shooting. And that's, seated and still. We don't want to have any excuses on why you missed a shot. If you just sit down, don't say a word while your opponent shoots, then pretty much the outcome is going to be you won or you lost. So we want to make sure of that. So just had a couple of particular questions about that. Back in the chat here, Mark Murphy, CT representing strong today. Yes, very strong. All right, so Bob at the table, still really looking to get his bearings down and feel comfortable. Rich Illingworth, Bob is a straight pool player. Yes, I've heard he plays straight pool very, very well. Regina Goulding, hey, what's going on? Glad to see you tuning in. Jeff DeRosa, hello, Michael. Hello, sir. Wish you were down here today, bro. Always a pleasure to have you in the room. Always, always a pleasure. Not too much to dabble with here. I mean, you really just got to stop the cue ball right there. You can have the 8 in the side, roll down, and you get the 9 in the right corner pocket of your screen. Don't really see any other way to execute this out here. Just like that. Looking straight in on the 9 ball. Bob looking to put another one up. And he does. We got a 4-3 game. Only trailing by 1 rack at this moment. I see Bob taking his time, making sure that that racking template is in the proper position. Again, folks, don't forget, next weekend, one of our biggest supporters right here, the New England 9-Ball Series, next Saturday and Sunday, that's at Straight Shooters. If you can make it to that event, get in touch with Mr. Mark Dion. Information is right there on your screen. Phone number and email right at the bottom. Don't forget, we are at the 14th annual Larry Lascotti Memorial 9-Ball event. Great, great tournament. Got a lot of people here. And we are looking to make this event something of epic proportions going forward. Really want to honor Mr. Lascotti. Now, it's interesting, and I'm going to mention this a few times throughout the day. Really cool thing I found out about Larry Lascotti. So, maybe back in the day this was common, but not today. I found out that I believe it was 1977, September 1977, Hustler magazine featured Larry Lascotti. There's like 12 pages. I'm talking illustrations, road stories, you name it. It is so cool that someone would be in a publication like that, worldwide distribution, I'm sure, but It's just so cool that they would put a pool player like that in a magazine and do the feature like that. You don't see that very often these days. But there are some websites out there that you can actually purchase a PDF version of the magazine, and I did just that. And there's some really cool artwork in there, and it's just really cool to see that. And the stories are really cool. The article's got a lot of nice stories and quotes from Larry. It's just really, really cool stuff. So if you can check that out, definitely go see if you can find one of those sites that offer that option. Mark Murphy, Mike, is there an updated bracket to see? Not at the current moment. If you do have an account with the player organized pool, you would be able to view that POP. But, this is the first time that I've taken part in an event with East Coast Pool Tour and also with Tom Peterson and, the player organized pool, the POP system. And I got to say, there's a lot of things that are really, really beneficial to the players with that POP system. And I think that one of the things that I'm going to work with him on is getting you guys some live table scoring. He has the ability in the program and in that system. He has that POP system has the ability to do live scoring and let you know who's playing, what the current scores are on all the tables, live brackets, all that stuff. And I'd like to integrate that into the stream for you guys. So I am going to be working with him to make that a reality. So definitely some cool stuff coming. Got to incorporate some technology into pool. I mean, if it's available and it's beneficial, I mean, why not? It's like shaving with a knife when you got a nice Mach 5 chilling in the drawer. You got to try it out, right? Another cool thing about that POP system, it actually sends you a text message when your match is up. Says, you're up on this table, playing against this person, and this is the race. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool if you ask me. So I know sometimes, you run out to your car or whatever it is, you have a smoke, grab a drink, whatever you're doing, and you can't hear the announcement of your match for 1 second. The 1 second you decided to go outside, you missed it for whatever reason, then, you might get a penalty for being late or something like that. That system really takes that out of the equation. I mean, most people have a cell phone, and all you got to do is keep your cell phone on you. You hear the message, you say, hey, I'm up. Go play your match. There you go. Done deal. So lots of cool things about that system. Mark Murphy, thanks. You're doing a great job. Thank you, sir. Trying my best to make this entertaining for everybody. Dave Morganelli, that would be awesome, Mike. Yes, it would be awesome. And you know what? I'm going to do my darndest to make that reality for us. Tom Peterson's put in a lot of work building that system, and I think there's a lot of benefits to what he's put together. I think that the way it's delivered, maybe, that could be improved slightly. But again, if we can get that incorporated into the streams that we provide for you, I think there's a lot of benefits to that stuff. So. All right, Mike rolls behind the 7 here. Does not leave a clear shot at the 4. That was a very odd way that turned out. He thinned the 4 ball on the way back and banked the 9 ball up table. I did not see that turning out in that way, to be honest. Bob was looking to separate by sending the 4 ball back up the table, but he actually came out somewhat fortunate here because Mike can make the 4 ball, but he's definitely going to run into the 9. I mean, the only real way to get out of this here, you got to kind of play into the 9 and come up the table. You know, Mike played safe there, but you know, it wasn't really too many offensive options. Definitely funny business. You'd definitely be hitting the 9 ball. Not really sure what the outcome's going to be, so. I hear Sweet Money getting called in the background. Another great player we're going to see, I'm sure, at some point. You know? Trying to see if I can get Steve Goulding to come up here, maybe give us a quick word, see if he wants to talk with us for a little while. Not sure if he's got time for us. Gotcha.
How you doing?
Doing all right. Everybody's having a good time. We're watching the stream. A lot of good stuff going on. Got Mike Mini and Bob Madenjian battling it out over here. And it looks like Mike has the 4 ball. Not sure if he can make it. If he can't make it, he might look to just try to keep him behind the 9 ball. Definitely a couple of funny clicks and bumps over there. This is really just a race to the clear shot at the 4 ball. First guy that pockets the 4 ball, that's the guy right there. He's going to finish the rack out. Thanks for the stream, Mike. Sorry I couldn't make it this weekend. No problem. Dave Morganelli, Winter Classic champion right there in the chat. He had 112 individuals in that event, and he was numero uno in that tournament. Nice job, Dave Morganelli. All right, Mike Mini coming with the bank shot here, 100%. Just a bit short. And I think that was just the table speed right there. You know, he's still expecting that to open up a little bit when you roll a bank like that. But that speed of that rail is just a hair faster than he was anticipating. So that ended up coming a little bit short. And that's going back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, you really got to get your bearings on a table before you can really hit your best gear, your top gear. And, you know, you just, once you feel that, though, I mean, those bank shots fly in. They don't even, you know, taint the sides of the pocket. They just go right in the center. And, you know, you hear the wind and the pow, the ball flying into the hole. But you really need to get your bearings down. See lots of good players in the room. Looking around, I can give you guys a couple of the names. I'm not going to know everyone in the room, but I know most of the players here. I see Lucas Werner. I see Mike Pettit warming up. Lucas Werner's actually playing against Rantamba on that table right there, table 3. John Gliserian. I see Sweet Money. Mentioned him earlier. Steve Mack, another great player. Francisco 5K Cabral. Fantastic player there. Tyler Boudreau. That kid's putting in a ton of work in pool right now. Can't wait to see what he's capable of. Got Dominic Souza, Jimmy DeNegris, Rich Howard, Mike Gileo, Tim Strunk, Robert Stewart, Nick Bousquet, Gene Hunt, Bill Cody, Kevin Brule, Alex Ortiz, Paul Mora, Jesse Murphy, Lita Mullendor, Anthony Petroselli. I mean, you name it, everybody's here. Mike Mini taking another one. He's going up 5 games to 3 in our race to 7. And it's starting to get that time where Bob cannot afford to miss any more balls. He cannot give these racks to him. These are crucial, crucial racks right now. If Mike manages to win this game, it's going to be 6-3. He's up, you know, a 2-1 difference there. And he's also going to be on the hill versus Bob winning this. He's only down 1 game. 5-4. You got to keep your opponent off the hill. If your opponent's on the hill and you still need 3 or 4 games, really hard pressed to get the win at that point. The only time you really see a comeback from something like that is at that top pro level, where the players can really just they can put a package together for you, and that's kind of the only way that's going to happen. So. 2.0, you in? No, Mike Matthew is not in this event, unfortunately. I believe he had some kind of personal thing going on. He wasn't able to make it. I think he had work or something, but I guarantee you if he was available to be here, he would be here. Mike Matthew supports most of the pool events in the New England area. Anything he can make it to, I'm sure he'd be around for it. Great, great player. Love to see him firing. Kid gets down on a shot like nobody's business. So Mike Mini, looking at his options here, this isn't really, it's not a clustered rack, but it's not really wide open either. I'm expecting him to try to play this with some inside, just trying to roll it off the top rail, staying on this side of the 6. He went around there. That was a better option. I like that. Better option. Good call, Mike. Really just got to get good on the 3 ball, and that's pretty much all you got to deal with here. You're going to have to get low on the 6 ball for the side pocket. You do not want to see someone playing the 6-8 combination. That's not a good option there. So we're going to see Mike make the 3, 4, 5. Got to get some good shape on the 6. And if he gets good on the 6, I'm going to say the rest of the rack is toast. So. Wow. Very unlike Mike to miss that shot there. But nonetheless, Bob Madenjian coming with another opportunity here. He's got a little angle here. I know it's tough to see on your screens. However, he does have a little angle here. He can cheat this and come underneath the side pocket if he draws this properly. You got to shoot it just a hair to the left of the pocket, and he's able to cheat this to come under the 6, and I think that's what he's going to do. I don't see really any other way to do this. Just like that. And he came out okay. It's not ideal, but he can shoot this up into the top corner there. I think he's going to look to draw and stay under the 7 so he can just float it into the side pocket there. Don't know if he's got enough angle to force it all the way over there. Yeah, he's just going to stay right there. He's just going to float it into the side pocket, accept his position there, not really get cute with the position, just roll the 8 ball in and try to finish this game out here. Nicely done. I see him drawing softly off this side rail here, shooting the 9 ball in the opposite corner pocket. Now you see what Bob just did there. He went over and looked at the line of the 8 ball into the pocket. I mean, this is an open level player here, and he's checking to look at his lines. Guys, we are not professionals, okay? You have to look at your shots. That is key, absolutely key. If you're not looking at all of your shots, you're selling yourself short. Yeah, you might make them most of the time, but you're not going to make them all the time. All right, Bob Madenjian taking another game here. That was a huge, huge game for Bob. Very, very crucial that he took that rack right there. Again, want to shout out to our sponsors, Classic Signs in Coventry. Classic Signs in Coventry. They will do anything you can think of with signs, exterior stuff, interior stuff, and they can also do vehicle wraps and all that stuff. So definitely check them out. right, here we go. Bob Madenjian breaking in rack number 10. Looking to take this one and tie it up. Looking to tie it up here. Really, really crucial time in this set. Looking for the 5-ball in the bottom corner. Again, pounded the rack. Managed to make a ball in the top corner, but I don't agree with the speed in which they're hitting in which he hit the rack there. I'd really like to just see him take a little bit off of that. I don't see the benefit smashing it like that with the template. You know, if there are any players out there in the chat, you wanna negate what I'm saying here. You want to give me some insight on the racking. Please let me know what you're thinking. Now, I'm going to say that was a bad roll. I mean, that was very, very unfortunate the way that worked out. You know, I also want to say he did not have to leave that rack on the table, you know, during that shot. He knew he was going to run into it. So I want to say, if you're ever playing with a template, after the break, just get it out of there. Just pick it up, get it out of there. If you need your player's assistance, you know, you need your opponent's assistance to help you get it out of there so everybody's, you know, on the same page of what's going on, go ahead. But I don't like to leave the racking templates. I like breaking with them, but I don't agree with leaving them on the table during play. I mean, you use them for the break, and then you get them out of there. If there's balls on top of them, I mean, unless it's very, very intricate stuff, I mean, just get it out of there. Nicely executed kick by Mike Mini. Not sure if that 5 is going to block him, but we're going to go to the overhead and find out. It looks like he has an edge of the 3-ball here. Don't know if he's going to go offense. I mean, he could cut it in the side pocket here, but I don't think he has enough to shoot it in the corner. I see him maybe just hitting it softly, trying to stay behind that 4 and the 8, maybe even contacting the 6. Well, he did have enough for the corner, but did leave an open shot. I'm going to see Mike roll this into the side pocket. Just like that. See Mike come 2 rails out for the 5-ball in the corner. And you see him taking that rack out of the mix. Definitely agree with that. Get it out of there, bro. You see Mike sporting the Ship the Cash patch on the back of his shirt there. Always appreciate the support. Fires it in, 2 rails out for the 5. Mike Matthew in the chat. I'll be there later tonight to hang out. Awesome. Can't wait to see you. We're going to get that promo taken care of, hopefully. We got Ryan Cullen in the chat there. You're right, Mike. Template got a cut break and attack wing and head ball. Yep, I got to agree. Got to agree there. All right, Mike Mini coming a little bit long on his position there. Actually, 2 railing coming underneath. He was looking to hit that long rail a lot higher up there. I'm sorry, a lot shorter there, and come next to the 6-ball, but he ended up hitting it 2 rails and coming short. Now he's got some funny business here. I think he's just going to try to thin it, come under the 8-ball, create some separation. Just like that. Don't want to overroll. You can leave that 6-ball into the corner. And to be honest, it's not that bad of a shot to go for here. I mean, position is automatic, and if you do miss, it's probably going to go back to that short rail. I think I spoke too soon there. If you do miss, usually it's not that far off. But again, you can tell I feel for Bob here. Sometimes you just can't get your bearings on a table, and it's just really, really tough to feel comfortable out there. And I'm sure everybody that's played pool ever in their life has been in a match where they're a little uncomfortable. So, all right, Mike Mini looking to pocket this combination to go to the hill. And he executes. Great shot, Mike Minichello. Up 6-4 in our race to 7. Mike Minichello racking the balls, making sure everything's situated properly. Now let's see if he takes anything off of the break. I mean, they've been just pounding it. But I'll tell you, in my time around pool, and I'm not speaking as a player, I'm just speaking as just, an objective perspective, my time around pool, I've noticed that, a lot of players talk, oh, the break is a huge part of the game. Yes, the break is huge. And I'll tell you, some of the players that are at that A speed or that open speed or whatever, if they put a little bit of time and focused on what their abilities are with actually breaking, that might be the next step, and that kicks them up that extra gear and puts them into that professional level of play. I mean, it really is. I mean, some people play fantastic after the break, but it's what can you do when you have the break? Can you actually hold your serve? I mean, most higher level events are going to be winner break. There are some that are alternate, but the bottom line is if you're breaking at the table, that's your turn to try to keep your guy in his chair or her chair and just win the game. Hi, I have the first shot. All right, break and win the game. And, if you want to compete at any decent level, you're going to have to learn how to do that. So, that's definitely sound advice. You can take that to the bank. If you can practice your break and be able to pocket a ball and have a shot at the next ball on the table, keep the balls open, I mean, you're going to win way more games and at least have more opportunities to win games than if you're just kind of guessing at what you're doing on the break. You can't just throw the balls up and blast them and say, "Oh, I hope I get a great shot here." It's not gonna work out over time. It's just not gonna work. He's got a combination here. He's actually looking at maybe pocketing the 6 into the side pocket, and that's not a bad idea. If he's comfortable with the 6 in the side, I say go for that because you got the 7 ball hanging there. If you roll the 6 up, you're not really sure how it's going to end up. You hit the 6 into the 7. You really got to focus on the speed of it, and you got to maintain your cue ball. So there's a couple of things to deal with. Bob did miss the 6. Didn't leave a fantastic shot for Mike. But nonetheless, I mean, Mike's on the hill. I don't want to tell him, you can just take a flyer at here, but, he's got a position in the match where he can afford to maybe miss another shot. So I think we might see Mike attack this shot here. Just place him outside and just pocket the 6 ball in the corner. All you have to do is make it. If you make this 6 ball, most likely you're going to win the game. So I would like to see Mike attack here. He did attack there. Didn't have enough rotation on the cue ball. You could see it just didn't throw the ball enough that he was hoping for it to throw it a little more. But it did not happen, unfortunately. It's going to give Bob virtually the same shot, just a hair less difficult to execute here. Just a hair less difficult. One thing you really got to worry about here, you don't want to come back up the table with this one, really, because you're flirting with the side pocket coming across and scratching. So just want to make sure you avoid that side pocket. That's number one. And if that rolls in front of the pocket, which I think it may, and it does, I think we're going to see Mike Minichello taking this match home. Getting down very quickly, ready to shoot. Now the position that Mike left himself in, that is comfortable for a lefty. If you're righty, shooting out with the bridge, or you know, you might come out a little bit different, but gets on the 8 ball. He's going to come forward just like that. He's going to play the 9 ball in the left corner pocket. That's going to be for the win. And he does it. Mike Minichello, 7-4 over Bob Madenjian. And there you have it, folks. Again, I want to mention